The Vroth armada moved through the stars like a wall of iron, endless rows of warships glowing with cold blue engines, each vessel carrying the pride of a species that had never lost a war. Their commanders sat in darkened bridges, speaking with calm certainty about the conquest ahead. Earth was their next target, another young race that dared to claim space as its own, and to them it was nothing more than a noisy world waiting to be tamed. Reports described humans as loud, emotional, and reckless, qualities the Vroth considered weaknesses, and so their generals laughed as they discussed how quickly the resistance would collapse. But the silence from Earth was strange. There were no cries for mercy, no signs of surrender, only a quiet stillness as the fleets approached. To the Vroth, this silence meant fear, yet beneath that calm sky, something far more dangerous was hidden. Earth had known about the invasion long before the first ships entered the sector, and preparations had been set in motion that the invaders could not imagine. The Vroth thought they were the hunters marching toward an easy kill, but in truth, they were already stepping into a carefully prepared snare. While the massive fleets of the Vroth sailed proudly toward Earth, their homeworld of Vroth Prime lived in false safety, unaware that the true danger already walked among them. In the shining towers of their capital, in the vast markets, and even within the heavily guarded military factories, humans moved in silence, hidden behind perfect disguises and false identities. They had lived there for years, some as engineers repairing alien machines, others as merchants trading harmless goods, and some as scholars sitting quietly in alien halls of science. No one questioned them, for the Vroth never imagined an enemy could reach their world without resistance. These humans were more than spies, they were architects of a plan that had been set in motion long before the invasion fleet left orbit. Every day, they observed, recorded weaknesses, and mapped the very veins of the Vroth Empire, from power grids to shipyards, from food supplies to command centers. Slowly, piece by piece, they placed hidden tools and silent triggers, each one waiting for a single command. To the Vroth citizens, life continued as normal, but beneath the streets, a quiet storm was forming. The humans had not only come to survive, they had come to strike at the very heart of their enemy. The Vroth believed Earth was the battlefield, yet the humans had already chosen the Empire's core as the true stage of war. And when the time came, Vroth Prime would not only feel the shock of invasion, it would realize that the invaders had been living in its shadow all along. When the Vroth fleets finally arrived at Earth, they expected to see a desperate world lighting up with defensive fire or begging for surrender. Instead, they found nothing but silence. Their warships circled the planet, scanners active, searching for resistance, yet the skies remained calm and the surface quiet. Confusion spread through the command ships as officers asked why humans were not reacting. Some believed Earth had already given up, but unease began to grow in the minds of the higher commanders. Then, suddenly, their homeworld screamed. Across the communication network, frantic signals burst through explosions tearing across cities, power grids shutting down, factories burning, and warships in orbit around Vroth Prime vanishing from sensors. The commanders at Earth froze as they listened to reports of chaos that made no sense. How could rebels reach the heart of their empire? But it was no rebellion. It was the humans who had lived in their cities for years, waiting for this exact moment. In one night, the invisible hand of Earth revealed itself, cutting into the core of the Vroth like a blade. The alien fleets above Earth now understood that they had walked into a trap far greater than they imagined. They had thought humanity was cornered, but in truth, it was their empire that had been surrounded. The silence of Earth had not been fear, it had been patience, waiting for the right moment to strike where the enemy was weakest, yet believed itself strongest. For the first time, the Vroth commanders felt something unfamiliar rising in their chest, fear. Panic spread through the Vroth fleets as the news of their burning homeworld reached every ship. Commanders who once spoke with pride now shouted in confusion, trying to restore order to a crumbling chain of command. Their screens flickered with reports of sabotage, their trusted factories collapsing in fire, and their defense stations going silent one by one. In that very moment of weakness, space around Earth shimmered as hidden human warships emerged from carefully prepared jump points. These ships were not the weak crafts the Vroth had imagined. They were fast, precise, and heavily armed, their crews already synchronized with the chaos unfolding on Vroth Prime. The human fleet did not charge recklessly. They moved with the cold patience of hunters who had been waiting for years. They targeted supply ships, disabled command vessels, and cut through communication lines, turning the mighty alien armada into a broken flock scattered in the dark. The Vroth had always seen themselves as predators, yet here they realized the terrible truth: humanity had never been prey. Earth had allowed the enemy to underestimate them, had hidden its strength, and when the moment came, it struck with precision that left no room for recovery. Every alien officer who looked at the battle unfolding above Earth understood that they were not fighting a desperate world, but a species that had mastered the art of patience and deception. Humanity had attacked not where the enemy expected, but where they were blind. The Vroth, who had ruled through fear, now felt their own terror as their fleets crumbled and their homeworld fell apart at the same time. For the first time in their history, the invincible invaders realized they had been hunted all along. And above Earth's quiet skies, the humans revealed themselves not as defenders, but as predators claiming victory in a game the Vroth never even knew had begun. When the smoke of battle finally cleared, the galaxy turned its eyes toward Earth and the shattered empire of the Vroth. The once feared conquerors, who had crushed countless civilizations, had been defeated in a single calculated strike. Their fleets were broken, their factories silenced, and their homeworld left in ruins. Whispers spread quickly through the stars, carried by traitors and spies. Humanity had not only defended itself, it had reached into the very heart of its enemy and torn it apart from within. The lesson was clear to all who listened. Humans did not fight like frightened prey scrambling for survival. They fought like predators who could wait in the shadows, study their target, and strike when the enemy least expected. The silence that the Vroth had mistaken for fear had been the silence of hunters preparing their trap. In council chambers and war rooms across the galaxy, alien leaders began to rethink their strategies, wondering if humans already walked their worlds unnoticed, learning, watching, preparing. To challenge Earth now meant risking not only open war, but hidden claws waiting in the dark. The fall of the Vroth became a warning carved into history. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never assume humanity is cornered, for the moment you think them vulnerable may be the very moment they choose to strike.